Hey girlfriend, it's Simeaka, your self-care bestie and your host. Welcome to Dear Girlfriend Conversations, our favorite safe space for sisterhood, storytelling, and self-care. Okay, girlfriend, let's set the vibe. Fix your tea or grab your wine, light your candles, grab your blanket or your pillow, just get cozy and call your girlfriends because we're about to have the conversation. Thank you so much for being here. Now, let's get into it. Hey, girlfriend, it's Simeaka, your self-care bestie, and welcome back. Welcome back to Dear Girlfriend Conversations. How are you? How are you doing? How's your week? I'm good. I'm really good, and I'm grateful to have you all here. So thank you for joining me. Now, before we get started, and as a reminder, we set the vibe each time we come to the conversation because Dear Girlfriend Conversations is a safe space, a sacred space. And as we cultivate and celebrate sisterhood, and as we experience the gift of storytelling, we will put self care into practice. So, girlfriend, let's set the vibe. Fix your tea or get your wine or your water, light your candles, grab your blanket or your pillow, get cozy, and call your girlfriends because we are about to experience the conversation. Now, I have my green tea with mint, ginger, cayenne, a little honey, and a splash of lemon. That's how I'm setting the vibe. And of course, I have my favorite blanket. So I'm ready for the conversation. Now, today, we're having a conversation about the strong friend. We all know her, many of us are her, and I have something I really need to say. It's a public announcement, so get ready. You ready? I quit, I resign, I give it back. I am no longer your strong friend. That's right, I quit. I sure do. I'm no longer your strong friend. I'm saving myself. That's it. That's the public announcement. Go tell your friends. Go tell all of our friends because your girl is no longer your strong friend. Now, I didn't ask to be the strong friend. I didn't ask to be the strong cousin, the strong niece, the strong daughter, the strong anything. But yet, here I am, quitting, resigning, giving it back. Have we ever considered that the strong friend ever only became the strong friend merely on default? Based on default, we didn't have any other choice. We didn't sign up for it. We didn't agree with it. But we rolled with it. I know I did. Now, have we ever considered that often, far too often, we put an unnecessary burden? Yeah, it's a little uncomfortable to even say, but far too often we place an unfair burden on our strong friends. Yes, can we all agree to that? So I am no longer subscribing to strong friend. Strong friend is no longer a part of my normal, so I'm giving it back. So this conversation is for me, but also for you. But I realize that while I have strong friend strengths, and I have a lot of them, I can recognize how the burden of strong friend has been dropped off and delivered to me. I can see that. I can see how even though I didn't grant strong friend permission, I just rolled with it and I rolled with it and I became the strong everything. But baby, Simeaka is no longer your strong friend. So go tell your friends. Now I do have a call to action. The call to action is let's normalize supporting our friends. Period. That's my call to action. In addition to us um, supporting our strong friends, let's redefine how we describe strong. Let's move to a much more healthy state of checking on our friends, but checking on our friends in real life. Simply supporting our friends that's the call to action. Nothing fancy. It's interesting for me when I think about it, like the word strong friend, that term in itself is interesting. And I'm just wondering, like, who When, how, and why are we determining strong friend? Like, who in the heck is measuring the strength or weaknesses in our friendships? Who are we? Who are we to determine who's strong anyway? Like, who's qualified? We're not qualified for that. Strong friend, strong friend. Now, I mean, just thinking about like, are they strong because they keep everything bottled up inside, or because they don't display their emotions, or they don't freak out, as soon as something happens? Or are they the strong friend because, they manage chaos well, or whatever you consider managing chaos well? Or are they strong because you yourself don't see what they endure? Or just simply, are they your strong friend because they help you with your things every single time? Why are we putting strong on our friends in the way that we've defined it? Now, who gave us permission to give our friends the burden of strong friends? Nobody gave us permission to do that. Now, listen to this. I feel like I had to come and make this public announcement because I'm in an era of my life where I'm saving myself and I'm removing all things that do not serve me. And being the strong friend, whew, it's too heavy. The term strong is has now become an heavy and ugly word. And for me, when I think about being the strong friend, strong has become heavy, and it has become ugly, and it's become a burden. And to use it in conjunction with friend seems cruel to me. Oh, wait. I don't even want to gloss over that. I think I just said something. Whew. We have turned strong into such an ugly and heavy word, and to use it in conjunction with friend seems cruel. I'm just saying. And I'm not saying that we are intentionally being cruel to our friends. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is we are responsible for delivering the burden of strong to our friends way too often. And that doesn't mean that we don't reach out for help. And it doesn't mean that we don't lean on our friends. It simply means that we have to support our friends way more often. I bet we all could do more. Like all of us. I can do more. You can do more. We all can do more. Checking on your strong friend has become very passive. Um, the way we support has become passive. I challenge everybody to support your friends without delivering you whatever load you're carrying. Try that. Ask your friend if they have space for whatever you're about to drop off. Have a serious conversation with your friend and ask your strong friend, and you can't see my air quotes, but your strong friend, ask her how she's feeling. Does she have space? What does she need? I challenge you to have a serious, not, in passing conversation, but a conversation. Girl, sit down, let's talk kind of conversation. Strong friends often feel alone and unsupported and overwhelmed, and they feel heavy. Now, we feel exhausted, emotionally exhausted. If you yourself are unable to hold space for your friend, at very least, you can not deliver your burden so much. Do less of that. Now, let me speak to my strong friends for a minute. Girl, take a step back. Take a step back, take a step away, and ask yourself how you feel. How are you emotionally? Ask yourself, does strong friend overwhelm you? How does it make you feel? Ask yourself, how did you get here? How long are you going to stay here? How are you going to let go? Girlfriend, get yourself a safety plan and let go. Save yourself. What do you need from yourself and what do you need from others? Those are the questions that I I challenge you or encourage you to ask yourself. Let it go, girl. You are responsible to, not responsible for. You're responsible to yourself to be a good human. You're not responsible for anyone else's problems. You're not responsible for solving problems. You're not responsible for holding heavy loads. You're not responsible for making sure everyone is okay. You're responsible to yourself. You're responsible to be a good human. Your friends have been experiencing you this way for way too often, way too long. You showing up in a strong friend manner is causing you to crack on the inside. Girl, I know you're exhausted because I'm talking to me and I know I'm exhausted. That's why I'm giving it back. And that's why I no longer subscribe to strong friend. It's no longer my normal. As of this moment, as of this moment, I am no longer your strong friend. Let's take care of ourselves. Let's save ourselves. Now, let me talk to the friends of the strong friends. Stop it. Stop it. If you need a self care action plan, I got you. But other than that, girl, you got to get a little bit more balance about you. You yourself are able to manage some of these things that you're dropping off to your strong friend. And I'm using my air quotes. You can handle that. But you at least have to try. And if you're unable to be the friend that you're seeking, maybe you can enlist other friends. Maybe it could be a group effort. Maybe you need professional resources. Maybe you need to um, do something different. But don't drop your burden off to your friend. No more of this strong friend behavior is acceptable. It's unnatural. So we're all going to do better. We have to actively work in changing the way that we friend, changing the way that we friend, our friend relationships. We have to change our behaviors. Okay. Now, I want you to understand there are things your strong friend will never tell you, or never even admit to. They won't tell you that, well, they won't tell you that they need help. And I won't say never. Let me back up. There are things that your strong friend has a very difficult time communicating with you because sometimes they don't understand or notice themselves, or sometimes they don't trust that you yourself or you and your friends, other friends, can help them. So they have a difficult time saying they need help too. They are used to doing so much themselves and so much for others. They have not experienced enough sincere help, or even helpful help, right? We know what helpful help is, like real help that helps solve or aid in the situation. You understand what I mean? So if you're wondering how to help your strong friend that doesn't understand that they need help too, I suggest starting with the small things. Start with the small things first. And it's as simple as picking up something for them from the store, right? Like if you live, miles away from each other and, you both like, maybe banana bread, or you both need bread or eggs, and you have a 2 for 1 sale, like, the banana bread is 2 for 1, or the bread is on sale, pick it up for her and just drop it off. Girl, I know that you're busy and you might not have time to go to the grocery store because X, Y, and Z. I just dropped off the groceries at your door. Love you, bye. That's it. Maybe you both use the same cleaners. And if you use the same cleaners, maybe her clothes are there. You pick her clothes up. Girl, I picked your cleaning up. Picked it up. It's at your door. Open the door. Talk to you, bye. Well, that's it. These small actions help open the door to them receiving help. right? Something simple and small, and do it from a sincere place. You don't have to post it on social media. You don't got to take a picture of yourself doing it. Just do it and let it be. Let it flow. Also, your strong friend has a difficult time saying that they're tired. Sometimes the strong friend doesn't even get an opportunity to rest. And I don't mean in terms of sleep, I mean actual rest. The strong friend is mentally, spiritually, and emotionally exhausted, and she needs to rest. So, anything that you can do that can help her rest, whether you tell her, girl, rest, I got it, help her. But she needs to rest. She's tired. They may not also tell you that they feel neglected. They may have a very difficult time and may not want to hurt your feelings or hurt themselves, but they feel neglected sometimes. The strong friend doesn't get oftentimes they don't get the type of support they give simply because um, they need they need to feel like things are gonna be okay. And if they are coming to you in a vulnerable place and you're not able to save space for them, now I'm not saying fix the problem, but if you're not able to hold space for them and they come to you in a vulnerable place, whoo, their world is gonna fall apart. And they may not be willing to risk that. Strong friend conversations are deep and they go many, many ways. And we could be here for a very long time just talking about strong friends and friendships. And I'll bring my girlfriends on to this podcast, and I'll bring your girlfriends on to this podcast, and we'll unpack, right? We'll unpack this and we'll talk about it. But what I want to also say is to us all of us in this friendship circle and this sisterhood bond, I want to say we have to set boundaries. Setting boundaries is essential to friendship. It is essential. And we have to communicate them and we have to communicate them clearly. Let your girlfriends know when you're able to support them and let them know when what you're willing to support them with and when you're not willing to support them. It is perfectly okay to say, you know what, I don't have space for that right now. You know what, I can't deal with that right now. It's okay. Set boundaries. We are going to practice self care. No, wait, we're going to prioritize self care. So we have to make space for self care. It's the way we recharge, it's the way we replenish our own emotions. So we're going to practice self care. We're going to check in with ourselves. We're going to ask ourselves how we feel, what do we need, what are our triggers. A lot of times we talk about, our love languages, but we also don't talk enough about what our triggers are, our emotional triggers. Let's have a conversation with ourselves. Let's check in with ourselves. Now, I just got a thought. Checking in with ourselves also means that we may want to seriously consider counseling or therapy for, checking in with ourselves. Actually, I'm an advocate for counseling and therapy. So I'll say that checking in with ourselves means taking care of ourselves. And taking care of ourselves sometimes means counsel or therapy. We have to ask ourselves, is there something we're not addressing? Ask ourselves, are we okay with taking on the strong friend burden? And the answer is no, we're not. But if the answer is yes, we have to ask ourselves, are we serving from a space of strong friend out of lack, right? Are we taking on the burden of strong friend out of a space of lack? Are we overcompensating for something we ourselves are not getting? Are we overcompensating and hiding behind strong friend or operating in the world of strong friend because we're overcompensating for something we're not given? We haven't been given or we're not giving or we don't think that we deserve. Are we giving so freely because we're trying to make up in some way for the things and the emotional or physical or superficial things that we're not getting or haven't got? Only we can answer these questions, but we will be surprised of why we operate the way that we operate, why we stop operating in that way, and what we can do to maintain a healthy space of friendship. So we got to check in with ourselves. We also need to seek and accept support. And that means from our friends. It also means from therapy. Remember that it's okay for us to not be the one that answer. We have to have trusted friends and trusted family members and even therapists and counselors that can guide and support and encourage and accept us and support us. So we have to accept and seek help in those areas. We have to express and honor our feelings. Allow ourselves to acknowledge our feelings, express our feelings, grant ourselves permission to set our feelings free. You don't always have to be the one with all the answers. You don't have to be the one who holds it all together. Express your feelings, honor your feelings, and move accordingly. Understand that we need to pause. We also need to pause. We need to pause. We need to take a moment. We don't have to solve the problems. That's it. We just need to pause, take a step back, breathe, and think about why we're doing it, why we're not doing it, if we need to do it, right? So, between setting the boundaries, practicing or prioritizing self care, checking in with ourselves, accepting and seeking support, honoring and expressing our feelings, and pausing. We need to take a step back and pause and understand that we do not have the capacity to try to save everyone's problems, to fix everything, to attempt to be, cannot see my air quotes, but the strong friend all the time, 24 hours a day, every time someone comes to you with a problem is unnatural, unhuman, unsustainable, and unfair. Pause, take a step back, and move accordingly. Now, with that being said, I will leave this conversation how we began. And it began with the call to action. The call to action is simply to support your girlfriend. That is it. Support your girlfriend by being mindful of the timing of when you come to her with your problem or the situation that you need help with. Consider the frequency in which you are leaning on your friend. Also, practice active listening. That is supporting your friend. There is nothing like your friend coming to you from a place of vulnerability and you not holding space for them. If you're going to hold space for your friend, active listening is support. Sometimes all you need is someone to actively listen and pay attention and be present. Listening, active listening is part of support. And number one, and lastly, respect the boundaries that have been set. If we are unclear about the boundaries, communicate them clearly. However, understand, respect, and honor the boundaries. Recognize that your girlfriend is only human as we all are. She does not have the capacity to attempt to be strong friend 24/7. She needs space. She has things going on. She has limitations like we all do. So, that is it. I've had such a wonderful time. I am so grateful to have spent this time with you. And before I go, I will leave you with a little something. Dear girlfriend, go enjoy friendship. Accept your friends for how they show up in your life and move accordingly. Assess the reality of your role in friendships and take responsibility and take action. Ask yourself who is sharing in the responsibility of friendship with you. Ask yourself which friendships do you feel safe enough to be vulnerable, safe enough to be helped, safe enough to be cared for, to be loved on, and who holds space for you, who holds trust for you, with whom can you let your emotions be totally free with. Remember, you do not owe anyone the strong friend burden, and certainly not the burnout. You are responsible to, you are not responsible for. You are responsible to yourself. You are not responsible for being the strong friend. Give yourself grace and permission to resign from the expectations of strong friend. You deserve to create and nurture and share authentic and well-balanced relationships. Be the friend you deserve to yourself and enjoy the many layers of friendship. Take a deep look at your tribe and take a deeper look at yourself and how you show up in friendships. I wish you the fruit of friendships. I wish you the experience of sisterhood, and I wish you a lot of love. I wish you the best of it all. Girlfriend, save yourself first and let the strong friend in you go. Now exhale. Love always. Simeaka. XOXO.